Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. I am your host, Dorothy Odell. I am the owner and producer of Unstoppable Overcomers Productions. For all of your media needs, give us a shout out here and we'll see how we can help you and service you. Uh, Basically, sharing stories and getting you in front of millions of people is a great way to start. So, with that, though, I would like to bring to the stage Erin Koffer. Welcome to the show, Erin. How are you?
Hi, Dorothy. Thank you. Very well. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So I'm excited because of what Erin does. And so Erin, tell me just to tease people here just a little bit longer. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everyone. So I'm Erin Koffer. I'm originally from New Jersey. I now currently live in Florida. I was fortunate enough to grow up traveling. So I have a love of traveling. And so I decided to change my career path. I was a teacher originally, and now I'm a travel advisor, and I help busy families experience the magic and wonder of the world without all the stress.
I love that. I love this. And, been talking to you beforehand, you were like, nope, I only want a certain amount of clients and I only want to be able to serve them this area. And good for you because, I mean, yeah, if you decided to go outside that parameter, there is you could help, help more people with their travel, but you want to give people the Ritz-Carlton experience within your company. And I think that is so unique about you because, a lot of people like a lot of people don't do that. So kudos to you for doing that and, loving what you do. And just the passion that oozes out of you each time I talk with you, especially about your company and what and how you service people, is commendable. So
Thank you.
absolutely. So, what are some of the best places or more exotic places that you have traveled to?
I've been to Australia. It was probably my favorite trip. It was just my parents and I. I do have two older brothers that we also all kind of grew up traveling, but this was when I was in college, so my brothers are a little bit older than me. And it was just amazing just to see like the wildlife. So koalas, we've had like kangaroos. That was awesome. I loved climbing the Sydney Harbor Bridge and Uluru, which is like this big, massive rock in the middle of the desert. It's actually closed now because it is like an Aborigines sacred ground. So I was like one of the very lucky few people to do it. It's probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. And just like a really unique and special experience that I absolutely loved.
And so you give this unique experience to your clients.
Yes, correct. So I always have a discovery call with my clients where I start by having them kind of tell me who's traveling, because that's really important in deciding where you're going to go. Because if you're just traveling with your family and you're all really active, you're going to do something totally different than if you have grandma and grandpa who may not be as active, but you all kind of want to do things together. Then that's going to be a different experience. So I start by doing that, and then I ask them more specific questions like, where have you stayed before? What are some things that you might want to see to really get an idea? And then I use my experience, which I know Dorothy mentioned I have traveled quite extensively, but I have been to over 30 countries. So if I haven't been there, we also have boots on the ground around the world to help ensure that your vacation is nothing short of perfect.
I love that. And so, what would you say has been the most unique place that you have had a client go to?
So I originally started with just doing Disney. I feel like every trip is unique because each family is different and unique. So every time I plan a trip, it's always something different, new, and exciting that I get to research and learn about for my clients or help share my experience as well. So, right now I'm working on a bucket list trip to Italy. So they're doing a cruise that's going to Italy, Greece, and Turkey. And then they're also doing a land portion where they're going to be doing private car and driver, hotel, 4 or 5 star hotels in Italy. And then also taking the train to Florence and doing wine tasting in Tuscany and just enjoying time together as a family. It is the mom's bucket list trip. So, definitely something that they want to have the best of the best. So,
Right. And so you organize that like from beginning to end, even where they're eating, the railway to get them there, and everything.
Yes, correct. So I use my boots on the ground who are destination specialists. So they live and work in the countries that my clients are visiting. So I work with them to make sure that everything aligns with what my client wants. Research the hotels in addition to what they give me as well. We'll book restaurants for people if they need, but they have their rail, their tickets, private cars, and drivers, so they don't have to worry about transportation. Because if you don't know, train strikes, unfortunately, in Europe are, pretty common. Luckily, they do announce them. So, I also help my clients if there are any issues, deal with all of that while traveling because things happen. So, I'm
Mhm.
there for you all every step of the way.
Wow. Love, love, love that. And so you got into this unique business because your family traveled. So has there anything else that you've ever wanted to do in your life, or this was just it?
So I actually grew up wanting to be a teacher. I left New Jersey. I always knew I loved Florida. We, grew up going to Disney. Florida. I always tell people I was born in the wrong state. I love it down here. That's why we live here. I love that it's like 90 degrees outside right now, which I know is not for everyone. But I grew up wanting to be a teacher. Went to school to be a teacher, did that for a while. Actually saw an ad, a Facebook ad. Do you like to plan Disney trips for people? I've been planning Disney trips for people since I was 8. So I decided to join that agency. It was solely Disney and Universal, and we did Disney Cruise Line and Adventures by Disney, which are Disney's tours around the world. So when I started that business, I was actually not doing a lot of the theme parks. I was doing the Adventures by Disney and the Disney Cruise Lines. So that's just where my clients wanted to go. And so once that sort of happened, I started deciding like, hey, I really like this. I want to kind of pursue it a little bit further. COVID happened. Obviously, that kind of like chaos ensued.
Hmm.
But I was still lucky that I still had clients like wanting to go to the theme park. So I did still have, some people traveling. But then our agency kind of opened up to around the world. And it was sort of a natural transition because I had grown up traveling and I feel really comfortable, planning international trips for myself and my clients as well.
Right. Awesome. So what would you say motivates you to do what you do?
For me, it's helping my clients make those unforgettable memories through travel. I, was fortunate enough to grow up traveling. As I said, unfortunately, my mom passed away a few years ago, but I still have those memories. They have extended past, her death. Like I still hold on to those. That's exactly what I want to create for my clients. Because you just never know what's going to happen in life. And I feel like any memories you make are fantastic, but the ones that you make through travel are just so unique and special that's what I really want to help my clients have.
Right. So what three things would you say that you've overcome in business to get to where you're at today?
So the first thing was trying to build a business while teaching full time. At the time, I was teaching preschool. So, if you can imagine like 23-year-olds running around and you're solely responsible for them from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that was a really big challenge. So I did actually start with the parents of the students I had. I just kind of told them, hey, I'm starting to plan Disney trips. And some of them are still my clients today. And that was in 2017. So, many years ago. I actually have a past student going to Universal next month. Um, so, that was definitely a challenge, trying to balance growing a business, which any entrepreneur knows like is not easy. But when you have a full time job, it just adds an extra layer to that. Marketing was challenging. I slowly got my name out there and then kind of realized like, hey, I need to do more. So the second thing is, even though I've been in business for 6 years, last year I kind of decided, okay, I've got a good base of clients, but they don't exactly travel as much as I would like them to. They travel every few years, which is great. I love the relationships I have with my clients. I like to plan their trips year after year. But I ideally would want them to travel every year, and they have young kids, so they're just not there yet. I know eventually many of them will get there. So I decided to kind of expand my circle of people just so I could continue to grow my business. And I tried literally everything in the marketing books. Like I worked with a marketing coach. I did like probably 20 to 30 online in-person networking groups. I like did an email list, did my Facebook group, did I don't know, you name it, I did it. And I like nothing was working. So that was super frustrating. My word last year was relentless. So I just was relentless. I just kept going. My agency owner was actually really good. I talked to her at the beginning of the year last year and was like, "What do I do like when things aren't working?" And she's like, "Keep moving." So that's what I did, and I kept moving. And then this year it finally grew enough, and it's still slowly growing. But I had my biggest year so far. Just in this first quarter. So if you're a business owner and you're struggling, just keep going, keep moving.
No, man, that is such great advice. And it's funny you said that because I've been doing what I've been doing for 3 years, and I feel like I finally got traction this week.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
just
it definitely takes time. I mean, especially like fellow travel advisors, if you're out there, like they say this business takes like 2 to 3 years of just like consistent marketing just to even like get the ground running. And it's a challenge at the beginning because you want to help people plan trips. No one said anything about selling. Like that was in my mind when I started my business. Like that's not what I was gonna do. But any business, you really are in sales, so you need to, put yourself out there and definitely be outside your comfort zone and just keep moving.
well, and networking works because I met Erin through Kelly Adams' Inner Circle group.
Yeah.
So networking totally works, and we're byproducts of that. And of course, getting in touch with other people's markets. Like Erin's on this show, so I can introduce her to my network, and also I have access to Erin's network because Erin's on here. So that's the power I think of networking, and people just don't realize that.
Yes, for sure. And like, definitely an introvert. Even though I agreed to be on this podcast, I did tell Dorothy, I was like, I'm going to be really nervous, but I feel comfortable with you, so it should be fine. But yeah, I mean, just putting yourself out there, and even if it's just like one day a week where you're just like, I'm just going to do something that I don't really want to do, just keep doing it, and you'll get there. And
Yeah.
also keep in mind that what works for some businesses may not work for you, and that's okay. Things will work. It really does take time.
Yeah, I think I know his first name's Brandon. His the author of A Million Followers. Brandon. I think I want to say Kane, but I don't know if that's right. I know it's somewhere on my desk, which I can't see right now. Anyhow, he always says everything's through trial and error. Like he got to where he was just from beta testing everything. So if it doesn't work, that's okay. Just don't be consistent and persistent in what you're doing, and that's one of the keys, I believe, to success within a business for sure.
Yes, for sure. And sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, okay, this is frustrating, and that's okay. Take a step back, but then go back to it. You often look at it in a different way, and you can start again, or maybe, hey, this I tried this a bunch, this isn't working, let's try something else.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I didn't realize that there's so much white light on the one side of me. I look like I'm
Oh.
pasty. Anyways, trying to figure it out. I was just got off the massage table. Was telling Erin I worked all morning this morning doing some recordings for one of my other shows. Went hurried up, ran across town, got a massage, ran back in the house, didn't even turn the light on, and here I am again. But that's okay. Yeah, everything works out, and so that's great. And I know that there's an American out there making fun of my out. So
Oh,
there we go. I say that because my co-host on one of my other shows has to bring that to my attention all the
every
time,
time. Yeah.
every time. So anyhow, so what 3 things would you say that you help your clients overcome?
So everyone's busy, right? Like we all have a million things to do. You've got families, kids, work, businesses, parents. You don't have time or energy to plan a vacation that you want, and you need someone that knows all the details, can plan it. As soon as I start talking to my clients, I'm like automatically being like, okay, they're going here. What hotels are good for them? What transportation? What flights? I just start automatically thinking of that. And like, yeah, sure, you can do that too, but it's going to take you hours and hours and hours of research and time and energy that you don't necessarily have. So that's definitely one thing. Um, Also, I offer customized experiences. So anyone can book a trip, right? You can go ahead, go online, Google best all-inclusive resort in Mexico and, book your vacation. But what may be best for one family may not be best for you. So I really take in consideration what you like, what your budget is, like who's traveling, because that plays a huge role as to what resort or destination you would want to go. I also have boots on the ground and no hidden gems that, sure, you could Google hours and hours and hours, but I can instantly be like, okay, you're going here, like this is what you need to see. So that's another thing. I also have over, you know, 20 years of travel experience. So I've been to over 30 countries. So pretty much anywhere you want to go, I've been there. So I can help, from the start to the finish without all the stress and time and energy so that you have the perfect vacation.
Right. Man, I love that. It's stressful for me to build a trip. My husband is the introvert. I'm the borderline introvert extrovert, and I'm just like I don't want to make all the decisions. I just want to get on the plane and go somewhere, and this is what's perfect with you that you're able to do that. I just call you and say, "Hey, Erin, this is where I want to go," and even the excursions and everything, you know.
Yes.
Um, so that's awesome. And would have saved me a lot of time if I would have known you, but when we went on our New York trip,
Yes.
because 30,000 steps in one day, because we went from one end of
Yeah.
a city to the other
And
and
it's
didn't,
bigger
instead of,
than you think it is.
well, and, you
And
know,
the New York City block is bigger than like a normal block. So,
well, not to mention that, like, we didn't plan it out. We didn't sit the night before and say, "Hey, here's the map. We want to go to these places." No, we waited till we're walking, and then we didn't realize that. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, the Empire State Building's over here, and Central Park's over here.
yeah.
Not even in the same realm of the thing, and but that's okay. We walked it,
Yeah.
and
So you saw a
I,
lot of the city, which, not necessarily a bad thing, but
yeah.
and like and sure I can plan everything. I do think, some of the best things happen when you don't plan, but at least we have like a basis of like, okay, you're going here, maybe you'll check out some restaurants and like other things to do in this area, but you're not trekking across like cities or even countries to get to
Mhm.
places.
Exactly. And that's what I love. Love, love, love that. So what are your 5 business tips to give to other business owners?
So the first business trip, sorry, excuse me, the first business tip is definitely to, try a bunch of things because what works for you may not work for other people. You never know what's going to work. Something that you did 5 years ago, someone may reach out and be like, "Hey, I met you at this table like booth event like 5 years ago." You never know what's going to happen. Um, I always say relationships before the sale. So my big thing is my relationships with my clients. Like that's always first. And like I'm always an advocate for my clients too. So I work with suppliers, but I'm very specific about who I work with, what resorts I book, because if I email a resort and they don't answer me, that doesn't bode well for if there's an issue with my client that's there. Like I need someone that's going to email me back, be like, "Hey, we already, we got it. We'll give them the amenity or we'll set up those excursions for you." So I always think about the relationships and how I can help my clients first before I think of the sale. The other thing is, like I said earlier, keep going, keep moving. You never know what's going to work. Grit and persistence is another one. Just, it's going to be hard. Unfortunately, we can't all just be like magically have the clients we want like right away. It does happen for other people, but also not comparing yourself to others because everyone's business is different. You don't know what they went through. Sure, it looks like, yeah, we have 100 trips booked and you have two. Like, that's a big difference, but you don't know. Maybe they're just booking trips. Like your service is going to be different than others. So just focus on your business and don't worry about anyone else.
Right. I love that. Those are such great tips. Um, Absolutely amazing. So, what is the one thing that most people wouldn't know about you?
About me as a person or as a travel advisor?
You personally.
That I really care about clients, my friends, if you're in my life, I truly care about you and want what's best for you, and will root for you every step of the way. That includes my clients too. Like, I will send my clients get well cards, like if they're sick, if they miss a trip, I'll be like, would love to help you next time. Things happen, so people can't travel. I have 3 phone calls with my clients throughout the planning process, and I also like keep in touch with them after, just because I truly do care about them and want them to be able to create these memories with their families.
Right. Now, it's on across the bottom of the screen here. I do have your Facebook group. Tell us
Hmm.
more about that.
Sure. It's a private community just for my clients, potential clients. And I'm also very fortunate to have a lot of my friends that are also clients, who trust me with their trips too. But I go live once a week, or try to. I've been skipping the last few weeks because things, happen. But I'm gonna start doing that again. And I do, travel tips. I do occasional promotions. So this week there's Utopia of the Seas, which is Royal Caribbean's brand new cruise ship coming this summer. They're actually having a pretty good deal for $3.99 per person starting at. It's one of the weekend cruises, and it's just a really good way to either add on to a theme park visit, or like do a quick weekend getaway, or even just to experience cruising. It is one of their bigger ships, so lots of things to do, great for the entire family, including grandma and grandpa. So I have things like that. I do engage with my followers, so ask random questions sometimes, like, do you want to go to Europe or Asia? And then I also do like destination highlights, so hidden gems at resorts that you might not experience. So I'd love for anyone to join and be a part of our community.
Oh wow, that sounds like amazing. Just even getting that information, and just seeing. It's funny because all of a sudden I really want to go to Greece.
Yes.
Well, not only is it a blue zone,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, and I didn't even know anything about a blue zone until this year.
Yes.
Um,
The Netflix series, or yeah.
no,
No.
actually, it's funny. My dad had cancer. He passed away
Okay.
2.5 years of
I'm sorry
cancer,
to hear
and
that.
thank you. And so I was on somebody's cancer podcast, and
Uh-huh.
he was talking about blue zones. I'm like, what the heck is a blue zone? I have
Yep.
no idea. So he started talking about it, and Greece was one of them. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, so could you imagine experience Greece, first of all, and then also knowing that you're in a blue zone? So, it's just that, to me, adding that whole other dynamic to it. Um, and let's get healed while we're on vacation type
Yes,
thing.
yes, absolutely.
So it's just like it's one of those places, and the water from the pictures that I've seen is just so blue. And so, not to mention the fact that one of my really close friends here in Windsor, where I live, is Greek.
Yes,
Her
agree.
family's from
Yes.
Greece, right? So I'm just like, so I could experience the culture with somebody whose heritage is here. To me,
Mhm.
that just,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that
would be
enhances
pretty
the
cool.
experience, yeah. Well, and speaking of, like, the blue zones, if I actually do, I have a group this summer, and then I also have a group of 18 next summer. They're doing a cruise also, and then they're gonna stay in Athens, but for a few days before and after their cruise. But, if they were interested in the blue zone, I have destinations management specials or management companies that I can be like, hey, my clients are interested in the blue zone. Like, what can we do to get them to experience that? So things like that are unique and different, that you may not be able to get on your own.
Mm. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Hmm. I definitely that you made me think. Oh my gosh, it's been a week of thinking, and well, I'm manifesting that. Then let's just do
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Put it on your vision board and
Put it on
start
my
taking
vision.
those steps. Yes.
Well, it's funny because I'm looking at one of my vision boards over there, and there's a big cruise line. So you
Yeah.
talked about the cruise,
Hmm.
and everything like that. So an adventure. So it's coming. It's there.
Yes. Yes. It's coming.
It is totally. So, what would be the one thing that you would want our listeners to hear about travel? Like, what's the one thing, or one tip that you could give them, um, a potential client?
So I think just and I'm gonna plug travel advisors a little bit here, but just hire an expert, hire someone who knows the destination, who can help you really plan it out, so you're not wasting a penny on a vacation you don't totally love. So we can help you from what are the best flights, because you might Google flights to Greece, and then the pricing's not exactly what you want. So I can help, I can monitor flights for you. The hotels, like I said, what's great for your friends may not be great for you. So I really get into those details to decide what's right for you, because everyone's different, every family's different. So, even if it's the most popular resort, maybe you don't like that it has like a party on the roof or whatever. Like I help
Yeah.
distinguish that and determine like what's best for you.
Mm.
And then also having those destination management companies that are boots on the ground to be able to share those hidden gems and unique things that you can't really find on your own. You may happen upon them, but that will be all set up for you so you don't have to worry about it.
Right. I love that. It's funny because I keep getting this same thing in my head as you're speaking, and it's like you don't want to be in an adult resort when you have kids, you
Yeah.
know. And that was the very first thing that I thought of, because when my husband and I went to Dominican 6-ish years ago, we didn't realize that it was a both like a
A
family
family
thing.
resort, yeah, and if you're on your honeymoon, like, some of my clients are like, "Oh, kids are okay," and I was like, "You really don't like, on your honeymoon in particular, you really don't want to be, like, in a area with kids, like, unless it's a family vacation, there's kids with you, like, I mean, speaking of honeymoons, when we did ours, I've been to half the countries around the world, and then my husband has been to all the European countries I haven't been, and I wanted to go somewhere we both hadn't been, and I didn't want to spend like 20 million hours on the plane. So I researched every single resort I could book for a honeymoon, and like was like, no, no. I just like found something like that wasn't good for whatever. It was just I was like extensive. I was like my own worst client, and I like.
Right.
And my husband was like, "Can you just pick one?" But we found one in Antigua. It had like a personal butler and plunge pool, and it was like perfect for us. And they had good food. I'm gluten free, so I had to make sure it was good for my dietary restrictions, and it was like amazing and perfect for us. So that's what I do for my clients.
That it's funny. Okay, I'm glad you said where you went for your honeymoon, and it's funny because I ended up getting engaged,
Oh
on
yes.
our trip to Dominican. So,
Okay. Nice.
hey,
Congratulations.
oh,
Yes.
thanks. Worked out. We're still
Yes.
together.
Yes.
We're married now. So that's cool. And so, yeah. So men that are listening to this episode, connect with Erin so that you could, find that destination where you really want to pop the big question.
Yes, yes, I would love to help with any proposals or yeah, couple getaways, honeymoons, and in addition to family getaways too, of course.
Right. Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for joining us this morning. I just want to jump on a plane now, call you and book the trip and jump on a plane.
Yes, no, for sure. So whenever you're ready, but thank you so much, Dorothy.
Absolutely. All right, guys, don't forget, be unstoppable in all that you do. Just want to give a final shout out to our last sponsor of today's show, which is the Kimbra. If you're needing more time, money, and resources, you definitely want to get your hands on the Kimber. And I'm trying to find you never can find what you want while you're trying to look for it.
Yes, of
So
course.
anyway, if you want a community that is rich in different rituals to get you more time, money, and resources, this is definitely the community for you. So, go check them out as well. Go check out Erin's Facebook group, be a part of her group, and connect with Erin on your next trip. And guys, if you're planning to pop the question, just give Erin a call and she'll help you do all that so you don't have to be nervous. All you need to just do is show up with the ring. That's all you got to
Yes.
do. Uh, with that, guys, be unstoppable in all that you do. And remember, same time, same channel.